Hello, welcome to Being Heard. My name is Tom Graham, and I am committed to every voice being heard, including my own. Here today, I've got Todd K. Welcome, Todd.
Hey Tom, how you doing tonight?
Well, I'm doing great. Say, I want to thank you very much for being here and being with me. Um, I see you got Show Me the Money. You want to tell me just a little bit about what you're up to?
Well, that's the business that I do on the sideline. I've got a financial coaching business that's not like any other normal financial coaching business where you tell people where to get their money, how to invest it, what to do with it. I don't do any of that stuff. There's literally tens of millions of people that do that. What I do is help people deal with the conversations that they're having with themselves about money, limitation, scarcity, and restriction. So I help people ask and answer the actual important question, why don't I have the money I want in my pocket right now? Money advisor, wealth managers, they're not going to answer that question. I'll help you find out your own answer to that question. And that's what we do. And if people stop holding themselves back from being able to be with money, what shows up is usually miraculous.
Awesome.
That's what we do.
Well, thanks for being here. And today we're talking about the 7P's, and they are passion, perseverance, perspective, priorities, purpose, patience, and prayer. You don't have to memorize them.
Good.
I'll ask you an individual question, but I just wanted to give you, that's kind of I'll ask about a question each and maybe a question to deepen it if I get curious.
Cool.
So the first one is passion. And how do you take actions to increase your passion?
Wow. Okay. That's a different direction than what I thought you would go. How do I take actions to increase my passion?
Yeah. And take your time.
I don't know that I do. I'm just naturally passionate about stuff. If I'm engaged and enrolled in something,
Yeah.
I just bring my passion to bear about it. And that's what I tend to focus on. I focus on things that light me up. In my business, I empower people to be with and to have money so that they can just have the resources that they've always wanted to have. And that just lights me up. In my day job in IT project management, I enjoy working things together and creating a team and creating cohesion and getting everybody to pull at the same time in the same direction to produce a common result, achieve a common goal and produce a desired result. So those are things that I'm just naturally passionate about. I don't, I don't usually have to generate enthusiasm. You've known me for a while. I naturally just kind of am that way.
Oh, yeah, I know that. And it's like, well, I mean, does a person get stuck with all the passion that they ever have, or do you find new stuff? Or, I mean, that's kind of what it's getting at is like,
Huh.
you used to
Good question.
pretend you used to love model rocketry.
I don't have to
And
pretend. I did.
oh,
I
okay.
still have some in the basement.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So when's the last time you were passionate and launched one?
Years and years and years. But but yeah, it's like, yeah, the passion of it, building them, playing with them, thinking about them. Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, I get it.
yeah, and so I know you've got children,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
And how have you passed it on at all? And it's just like, how to being lit up is that's the whole gist of where I'm going with it.
Well, I did make a point out of making sure that my children got passionate about reading. That was something that was important to me. And, I let them read what they wanted to and look what they did. And, my youngest one finally found Animaniacs, which were like, no, was it? Not Animaniacs, it's a cartoon. It's the one where the kids turn into animals, whatever it is. It was just like a series of books
Yep.
that were a lot of fun. And, once my kid found that one, all of a sudden they like found something that they really enjoyed in the reading and became passionate about reading. And that was all I was caring about. It was like, no, I want you to be a reader. I want you to enjoy the written word because I
Yeah.
think it's important.
Yeah.
So,
Beautiful.
you just find a way to share it and find a way to inspire people But for myself, I mean, the classic syllogism from Landmark is that you can produce a result you want to, and the results you produce are a function of the actions you take. The actions you take are a function of your engagement and participation, which is a function of your level of enrollment. And your level of enrollment is something that you can change at will by enrolling yourself in something. So if you want to be more passionate about something, you could certainly just get yourself really enrolled in whatever it is you're doing or whatever it is you're producing or whatever aspect of it that lights you up so that you just like go, oh yeah,
So if I heard you right, you could be passionate about anything. You could take the most boring subject and become passionate about it.
possibly.
Okay, cool. I just
I don't
wanted
know
to
how
get
thrilled
into
I'm going to
this.
get about tax code, but yeah,
I was just seeing how far it would go,
sure,
And thank you. I really appreciate you, indulging me in
sure.
going deeper on that
That
because it
was an
was
interesting
like
question. I'd never thought of that.
there might be six more.
Good.
All right. The next word is perseverance. So, what is worth so much that you would push through anything to have?
Most things, perderabo from the Latin, I will endure. Um, I had a lot of people just be surprised when I first did the advanced course at Landmark because I was one of the first people to get up. And this is back in the old version where you stood up on the stage, went through the eye of the needle and the whole 9 yards of who I am is the possibility of XXX, and the act I'm giving up is whatever your act is. And when I said that's my act, the act I'm giving up is, the course leader said, no, that's not it. And I couldn't get it for 15 minutes on the stage in front of a room of people that were not listening. Till finally the course leader just said, there's just no listening in this room. So we're going to go for a dinner break. And then he finally told me what my act was, which was just like, wow. But it was like, I just stood there and some people were just like, well, how the hell could you do it? I'm like, well, I knew I wanted to get this. I was committed to getting through this and I was willing to I was going to endure and go through it because I knew on the far side there was something I wanted to get to.
I have a favorite movie.
Hmm.
It's called Iron Will.
I think I've
It's
heard of
about a
it.
dog sled and stuff. And so just that notion of I'll persevere, I'll get through it. I can hear the dog whistle in my and anyway, so that's what got the dog sleds going and great story. But it's just I went sideways, but and thank you so much for sharing that. The next one is perspective. So would shifting your perspective change your level of joy in the moment?
It certainly can. I find that if I'm not enjoying something or if I'm having an interaction not go the right way, that I've got an interpretation, a point of view, or a perspective that isn't serving me. And um, I just played with this a couple of weeks ago with a friend of mine because as I was passing someone, I noticed for one day that several people were like kind of leering towards drifting into my lane. I'm like, this was in the Dominican Republic and people drive kind of crazy and fast and the roads are bad. And, it's like all of a sudden having a truck kind of drift over towards your lane was not cool. And so I was like making them bad and wrong and upset about it. And then in conversation with the passengers in the car, she's like, well, maybe it's just your magnetic personality. So I'm like, maybe they're just attracted to you. So I'm like, oh, okay. So I created the perspective or point of view that my naturally magnetic personality was attracting people to me. Is it
Yeah.
true? Of course not. Is it silly? Yes. Did it make me give up my story about these people being whatever I was causing them to be or calling out them to be? And just change my perspective. And it just, because it was a silly one, I love a silly perspective, by the way, because it just gets you to the point of seeing that all of your perspectives and interpretations are just that. They're just a perspective, an interpretation, or a point of view. It's not true. It's just what you're saying to yourself at the moment about whatever that is.
Awesome. Thank you. You had a great example too. The next one's priorities.
Mm-hmm.
Um, are your priorities setting you up for success in creating more joy.
They can, if I focus on it. That which you focus on will tend to expand. And not always. I must say that I don't always focus on maximizing my joy, maximizing my participation, or being in the moment. It's easy to just get caught up in the doing of it and maximizing getting through this darn meeting or whatever you're doing, or getting this deadline met, rather than having fun with it.
Right.
So yeah, wow. But that's a perspective shift that I can certainly take on.
And all it is a question. There's no right or wrong.
No, no. But the key factor is, what questions are you asking yourself when they can go ahead and do it? I had a high school physics professor who said that in history, we remember, the history of science, we remember people who ask the right questions, or important questions. I mean, did Isaac Newton get hit on the head with an apple? No, that's a silly story. But he asked an important question. Is the force that makes an apple fall to the earth the same as the forces that make the bodies and the planets and the stars move in the heavens? And that's gravity. That led him to the question of gravity. That was an important question.
Got it. So the next one, thank you very much. The next one's purpose. And is your ladder up against the right wall?
That reminds me of the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. It's like all about like purpose and direction and everything. And you finally have a leader climb up the tree and go, we're in the wrong jungle, talking down to the managers, where they're hacking their way through a jungle, going, we're in the wrong jungle, going the wrong way. But all the middle managers call up, but we're making such good progress. So yeah, it's like, is your ladder leaning against the right tree or wall? I don't know. That's something to check in with them from time to time. Are you going in the right direction? That's a good question. That's an important question.
Yeah.
In my case, I don't know. I check in from time to time.
Yeah.
I mean, in my business, definitely. Other areas of my life, I'm thinking so.
Yeah.
Picked some new walls in recent history and leaning against them, and things are going in different directions. So yeah.
Got it. And then follow-up question, if you want to dance with it or not, is
Sure.
What are you building with it?
More relationships, newer ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. And more connection, right?
More connection, more friends, more people to go out and do stuff with. That's an
Deeper
area of life I've
connection.
been focusing on, interpersonal relationships.
Awesome. That's great. The next question is patience.
Hmm.
Yeah. And are there areas where you don't have patience?
Yes.
Really? It just everything you said so far, I'm delighted to hear
Right.
that you don't have patience, because then that means you're like the rest of us.
Yes, I'm very human. I remember when I was, I had to be about 8 or 9. My grandfather went to my mother, who was into knitting, and some of the pets had gotten after some of her knitting and like kind of messed it all up. He said, do you have a bunch of yarn that's all snarled? She goes, oh boy, do I, and gave me a bunch of it. This is her father, my maternal grandfather, came to me and said, you can untangle all this wool because it will teach you patience. And I did. And I really kind of got that lesson that if I want to generate patience, it's a generative phenomenon that if you want to create it, you can. And you have to actually generate patience. I mean, some people naturally have a large amount, a large reservoir of patience. Some people have less. I would tend to say I tend to have less naturally, but I can generate.
Yeah.
But I've got a nasty habit that I'm generally relatively patient with people and try to be that way. But if someone snaps at me, my default knee-jerk reaction is to snap right back. And that is a very not effective way to deal with life.
Yeah. And the second part is, have you seen a pattern? And
Well, that is the pattern. The pattern
yeah,
is if someone snaps at me, I mean, if I've done something stupid and they like dress me down for it or snap at me for doing something really stupid, I'll take it because I'm like, yeah, you're right, I did it. That was totally stupid. But if someone snaps at me because they're snapping at me because of whatever's going on with them, I am working on not just snapping back as a knee-jerk reaction. And my knee is moving and I'm a jerk. So I don't want to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Well, I appreciate your generosity so far.
Mhm.
And the next one is prayer. And so this one's a little bit slanted. I'm going to tell you straight up right now. And so do you use prayer in terms of, are you proud, grateful, desire, and what you love about yourself?
No, I don't. I firmly believe in the power of prayer. And I do believe that the universe is alive and listening to us. And then if we make bold requests, you can get like bold answers. Sometimes the answer is no, but usually the answer is eventually like if you just keep putting out what you want to the universe, eventually you'll get it. You know. So I do
Okay.
believe in that. Um,
So that's kind of what you desire, right?
right, yeah.
Okay. And
But
then
repeat the actual question because I didn't answer that.
I got a little dry.
Mhm.
Do you use prayer for what you're proud of, grateful for, what you desire, and what you love about yourself? Almost like a prayer of thanks, I guess.
Yeah, prayer of gratitude for the things that I have. I do. I do say thank you when things show up, and then just go, wow, thanks, to the universe when things show up in a really good way. But do I give gratitude and prayer towards that which I have, which I appreciate about myself? No, that's an area for growth and development for me.
And there is no right or wrong answer. And you
But we
choose.
can certainly make things bad and wrong if we want to.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure.
Not very productive, but it's certainly an option we always have.
Yeah.
As I do that. Oh.
Um, well, Todd, I really appreciate you taking the time to go through these questions with me.
Yeah.
And is there anything you would like to be acknowledged for?
No, no. When it comes to acknowledgement, I find I love to just have people acknowledge me from what's in their space rather than anything I might think I want acknowledgement for, because what comes from the space and what comes from the other person's heart is usually so much more meaningful to me. And things just really get a whole lot more real.
Okay. Well, Todd, I acknowledge you for your generosity to me and to others. It's clear in what you're shared so far that you're committed to helping me have these conversations with people. And your program is committed to making a difference for other people and really just being there and creating that space of what's it like when things work? How good could it get?
Mm,
And it's just like, cool. So thanks for doing that, Todd.
thank you. I got that. And I just want to acknowledge you for inviting me to come onto something here and just asking some really different questions. Because my whole program is based around a word association game. I say pink, you say blue, you say green, you say orange. So I ask a lot of questions, and it's fun to have someone ask me some interesting questions that were completely not what I thought they would be. And they are all just off slightly in a different direction from where I thought they'd go. And they are all interesting. So yeah, so thank you for that. And I acknowledge you for that and for the work that you do, because I know your commitment is not only to have people feel heard and really understood and listened and loved, but to also just be truly present and have people learn that they too can be present in the moments of their life, which I know is what I got contributed when we were working together. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, thanks. Good night.